What's going on YouTube? Did you know that you could buy a property and real estate in general using none of your own money? If you didn't, please like, comment and subscribe and tune into the video. Right, to dive straight in, the three main ways, okay? You use other people's money, you joint venture with them, JV, or you get into lease options. Right, to dive straight into the first one, it's using other people's money, okay? So a lot of people may have a lot of capital sitting in the bank, but they just don't know what to do with it. They don't have the skill to deal with it, don't want to really get into property maybe, or they do, but it's about just them getting a better return or better bang for their buck. So for example, say you've got a house that you want to flip, so buy, refurb, refinance or sell at the end, and you need, for example, 100 grand, okay? So you could borrow that 100 grand and give the investor a fixed rate return. So to start off with, say a basic one could be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. Say we start with a higher amount, 10%, you're giving someone return on 100k. In a year, you're going to give them back 110k. In that year, you would have bought the house, refurbed it, and probably refinanced it, because usually within 6 months you can refinance, okay? And then you can pay the investor back. Right, you might be wondering, why would they give you the money? Well, 10%, even 6%, 6-10% is more than double what an ISA gives. So say for example an ISA is 3% maybe, inflation is actually around 3% a year, which means having money in the bank, you're losing money because the value of money shrinks. Or if you put it in an ISA, at best you'd stay in level with the market, so your money is just worth the same as it was 5 years ago, which is not great. If you give it to a developer that's skilled, or anywhere else where you're getting a fixed rate return more than 4, 6, 7, 8%, 10%, which is amazing, 10 grand at the end of the year, you're really getting a lot of better bang for your buck pretty much. There's a few other reasons why they might give you the money, because look, for example, a lot of people, CEOs of various different countries, may want to invest in property or in anything else, but they just don't have the time or the skill. You're a developer, say you're doing this, you're a developer, you know how to do it, you've got the skill, you've been educated, you've done it before, so they're just better off giving you the money and getting their payout at the end. They don't really want to deal with the hassle, they don't want to get equity in it, they just want to get paid off, want to see 10 grand at the end of the year, and you're just helping them with that. The second way is to JV with them, which is short for joint venture. In a JV, the investor actually has equity in the project or the company or the actual house. They actually own half of it. So it's not about giving them a fixed rate return. They actually want a bigger slice of the cake, or the pie has to say, and they will split the profits 50-50, whatever the profit is. So say you do make money or you lose money, they're taking on the burden with you. There's risk reward. So the way this usually works is you set up a SPV, which is essentially a limited company, a special purpose vehicle, which is generally made to acquire a property or an asset and to be kept in there. And part of the SPV is that as a developer, you own 50% of the company as a shareholder, and then the investor owns 50% of the company as well as an investor. So both of you are bringing something to the table. Usually the investors bring in the cash, the money, which you require, and you're going to bring the time, you're going to bring the skill, you're going to bring the expertise, you're going to bring the power team, you're going to bring the deal to the table. And then once the deal is done and dusted, and you, for example, going back to the BRR model, say you buy a refurb and refinanced it, now you're going to pay the investor back his money, and then whatever money or whatever profit is left, say you sold it and you made 50 grand, then you split it down the middle, 25 to you for your time and your expertise and bringing the deal, and then he takes 25 for bringing in the cash. Then you can either build a relationship again and maybe buy another property within that SPV, or liquidate it and share the profits and then be on your way. And the third and final way is lease options. Some people actually use this way to move into their dream home sooner than later, right? Some people just buy a 1-bed or studio and then upgrade to a 2, 3, 4 over 10 years. Some people use lease options to get their 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom house at 22, 23, wherever it is, or when they're ready to get on the market straight off the bat. But to tell you how to profit from this is you need two elements. You need a motivated seller, right? The motivated seller, say someone that's been trying to sell this property for ages and they're just making a loss on it now because they're paying a mortgage and it's not selling. Or there's some people that have it up for rent and have it up for sale because they just want to have something coming back from the property. If you find a property that's for rent and for sale, you're going to have a good chance of the lease options working. So what you're going to do is go to the vendor and be like, Mr. Vendor, look, I'm interested in buying the property, but not right now, in about 4 or 5 years. So what you tell them is that you're going to take over the control of the property, you're going to pay him rent. Usually the best deal would be that you're paying off the mortgage for the owner, so that's just a financial burden off his shoulders. So for example, if the mortgage is about 300 quid, maybe you give him 400 quid and he makes a bit of money on top of it and he covers the mortgage. So what you do now is lock in a price that you're going to buy the property for in about 4 or 5 years. And now, like I said, you take over the property and you could either turn the property into a HMO, a service accommodation, or you could just simply live in there and pay rent. But the great thing about this is that in about 4 or 5 years, usually in general throughout history, the price of the property or the value of the property would increase a certain amount, and now you only have to pay the number that you guys discussed 4 or 5 years ago. But the icing on the top is that it's called lease options. So essentially, you're not obligated to buy the property under the 4 years. You could decide that, look, it's just not going to work for you, it's not a house that you want to take forward, and you don't purchase it and you give it back to the vendor. But say you decide that, look, the house is performing well, you turn it into HMO, you're getting a lot of rental value, then you could decide, okay, I do want to purchase it, and then again you find an investor, go to other people's money or find a joint venture partner that we buy out the house. Now, because the house has been performing well as a HMO, an investor's gonna find that as an easy steal. He's going to be like, look, I know that's guaranteed money for me, and he's going to jump in. So then again, you don't use your money and you're just getting paid from property. That's about it, guys. That covers the 3 ways of acquiring property using none of your own money, other people's money, OPM, that's what they call it, JV, joint venture, and lease option. Pick the one that appeals to you most and just get cracking. That's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way for us and it gets us seen by other aspiring property entrepreneurs. Finally, I did want to tell you guys that I'm going to start doing a Q&A day or an episode once a month to start with that covers people's questions. So please do check out my Instagram and DM me for it, or message me, or email us on support@keystoneventures.co.uk, and I will try to answer as many questions as possible on a Q&A day. Might do it next week, might do it the week after, I haven't decided, but do get involved. I'm here to serve you guys and your businesses, so get involved. And I'll see you next time.